I still remember the day I walked into SLS Barcelona, my heart full of hope and my soul yearning for a luxurious stay. Little did I know, my dreams would soon turn into a nightmare. As I stepped into my room, I was greeted by an overwhelming stench of sewage. Yes, you heard that right, sewage. It was as if the entire sewer system had decided to pay me a visit. I felt like vomiting, and my eyes began to water from the pungent smell. How could a five-star hotel like SLS Barcelona allow such a travesty? I tried to shake off the feeling, thinking maybe it was just a one-time mistake. But, oh no, it only got worse. The air conditioning wasn't working, and the room was a sweltering oven. I felt like I was trapped in a sauna, with no escape from the heat. And to top it all off, the room was right next to the road, so I got to enjoy the sweet sounds of cars zipping by all night long. It was like sleeping on the highway. But wait, it gets even better. When I tried to check out, they told me that my deposit of €800 had been withdrawn. Can you believe it? They just took my money, without even asking. It was like they thought they were above the law. And when I tried to complain, they just gave me some half-baked excuses. And don't even get me started on the breakfast. It was like they had taken all the leftover food from the previous day and served it to me with a smile. The bread was stale, the eggs were overcooked, and the fruit was brown and mushy. It was like they were trying to poison me. But what really broke my heart was the way the manager treated her staff. She was yelling at them, screaming at them, making them cry. It was like a scene from a horror movie. I felt so bad for those poor souls, trapped in that toxic work environment. And then, there was the time they took me to a room that was still occupied by another guest. Can you imagine? I felt like I was intruding on someone's private space. It was like they didn't care about anyone's privacy or comfort. But what really took the cake was when they promised to elevate my experience, but didn't deliver. They just gave me some empty promises, and then ignored me when I tried to follow up. It was like they thought I was some kind of fool, who would believe anything they said. As I left SLS Barcelona, I felt like I had lost a part of myself. I felt like I had been scammed, robbed of my dignity and my hard-earned money. It was like they had taken advantage of my trust, my faith in humanity. So, I ask you, dear readers, have you ever had a similar experience? Have you ever been treated like dirt by a hotel? Share your stories with me, and let's expose these scammers for what they are. And to SLS Barcelona, I say this, shame on you. Shame on you for treating your guests like trash. Shame on you for ruining what was supposed to be a luxurious stay. You may think you're above the law, but you're not. Why? You are just a bunch of thieves, trying to make a quick buck off unsuspecting tourists. So, beware, dear travelers. Stay away from SLS Barcelona. They're not worth your time or your money. Trust me, I know. I've been there, and I've suffered.
Okay, so I was, looking into things happening around the SLS Barcelona. You know, just because. And it's not great. Honestly, it's kind of depressing. Businesses around there, especially the rental ones, they can be tricky. So, there's this thing. You wouldn't believe it. Businesses here, they sometimes rent out the same apartment to multiple people. Can you even imagine? They take your deposit, your first month's rent, seem all official with contracts and IDs, and then they do it again. And again. Over 40 people got caught in this, a lot of them tourists, staying near SLS Barcelona for a couple weeks, planning a nice holiday. Then they show up, and there are already people living there. And, not friendly people. People who got scammed too. Apparently, there were even threats. If you come back, we will kill you. Seriously? Who does that? I bet those people were freaking out, right? Probably spent days arguing with the police, trying to get their money back, and ending up sleeping on someone's couch, or in a really cheap hostel. That scammer, they said it was a Brazilian guy named Pablo. I bet he ran. Probably left the country with all the money. The police probably issued a warrant, but getting him back? That's hard, you know? It's always hard. It's just so unfair. And it's not just that one thing. There's another scam. Businesses near SLS Barcelona, they find apartments, but the real renters are still there. Then they advertise it super cheap online. Way too good to be true. They show it to people when the actual tenants are out, take deposits, give them fake keys, and disappear. I heard stories about 10, 20 people showing up to the same flat at the same time. Can you even picture the chaos? Those people probably felt so stupid, so betrayed. They'd probably be stuck trying to find a new place last minute, paying even more because they're desperate. They'd probably feel so embarrassed too, right? The scammers? They're probably laughing somewhere, planning the next one. Maybe the police caught some of them, but it feels like they always get away with it, doesn't it? Just feels wrong. The businesses surrounding the SLS Barcelona. They present a rather disheartening picture, frankly. It's as if a shadow has fallen over the area, a subtle but pervasive sense of disappointment. It's not simply that establishments are bad, it's more that they represent a systemic erosion of trust, a quiet desperation clinging to the edges of a supposedly luxury experience. They feel predatory. And I say this having meticulously reviewed a considerable volume of visitor feedback, a task which, I confess, has left me feeling increasingly deflated. Let's start with the larger establishments, the ones designed to feel safe and convenient. Places like diagonal mart shopping centers, you'd imagine, havens of consumerism, brightly lit and secure. But what appears to be a gleaming facade conceals a rather troubling reality. It seems car theft is practically a hobby here. Multiple accounts detail vehicles being broken into in broad daylight, valuables pilfered with unsettling ease. And the response from management? Essentially, a shrug. A bureaucratic wall erected to deflect any responsibility. It's a chilling pattern, one reinforced by the sheer volume of similar complaints readily available online. It's not a coincidence, it's an acceptance of vulnerability. One wonders if security cameras even exist or if they simply serve as elaborate, expensive props in a theater of indifference. The anxiety of a holiday ruined by a smashed window, the violation of personal space, it's a profoundly unsettling thought, isn't it? A vacation should be a release, not a breeding ground for paranoia. The issues don't end with grand larceny. Diagonal Mar, even beyond the threat of theft, seems to suffer from a pervasive mediocrity. Shoppers describe the stores as small, lacking in variety. It's not a destination, it's a holding pattern. And then there's the incident with the child in a shockingly dangerous slide. A piece of plastic jutting out, causing a deep wound. It's a callous disregard for safety, a monument to cost-cutting dressed up as modern design. It feels less like a shopping center and more like a cautionary tale. Even finding a decent meal in the vicinity seems to be a struggle, with multiple reports of consistently poor restaurant experiences. Udon, specifically, seems to be a hotbed of unattended bags and disappearing valuables. It's a dark undercurrent in what should be a place of leisure. Moving on, we encounter the realm of wellness and relaxation, the spa at Mandarin Oriental, Barcelona. One expects, with a name like that, a sanctuary of tranquility. A place to escape. But the accounts are mixed, to say the least. A therapist described as radiating anxiety, rather than inducing calm. A small, underwhelming pool. A sauna inexplicably out of order. It's a disappointment magnified by the expectation of perfection. One can almost feel the weight of unmet promises, the crushing realization that luxury doesn't automatically equate to serenity. There's a subtle implication in the reviews, a sense that the spa is a secondary thought, a footnote to the hotel's primary offerings. The feeling it evokes. A hollow echo of what could have been. Let's discuss nori sushi puchat. Sushi, a delicate art form, often associated with precision and freshness. Here, it seems, the art has been lost. The prevailing sentiment is one of overwhelming disappointment. Greasy, cheap ingredients slathered in excessive amounts of sickly sweet sauce. But the problems extend beyond the cuisine. Customers report being rudely rushed out of the restaurant, even while still enjoying their meal. There's a clear disregard for customer satisfaction, a frustrating inability to address complaints. One particularly unsettling review details a customer being blamed for not explicitly requesting chopsticks and soy sauce, as if these are optional extras, not fundamental components of a sushi experience. It speaks to a culture of denial, a stubborn refusal to acknowledge shortcomings. Then there's Lora, a restaurant so unremarkable it barely registers in the collective consciousness of online reviewers. 2 negative reviews is all it takes to paint a picture, however. Poorly cooked octopus and a general air of indifference. It's a quiet failure, a testament to the fact that even mediocrity can thrive in a location lacking stringent quality control. It doesn't scream malice, it whispers apathy. And then we arrive at what I can only describe as a breeding ground for disillusionment, Cosmic Castle. A children's entertainment center. One expects laughter, joy, a haven for youthful exuberance. What is described instead is a scene of grime, neglect, and outright hostility. Dirty facilities, malfunctioning games, and staff who seem actively resentful of their clientele. It's a particularly heartbreaking situation, to witness a place meant to foster happiness actively contributing to unhappiness.